Oh, and I accidentally broke your toilet seat. Hi there, I'm Anne-Katrin, and I'm occasionally awake. I'm here to help you inspire your awakenings, heal yourself, and reawaken your life. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. The craftsman and my landlord came out of the bathroom together. They looked pleased because the pipe leak under the tiles had been detected and fixed. Great, they said. We're done for the day. Oh, and I accidentally broke your toilet seat. And off they went. I was left with a partly open floor, a broken toilet seat, and not that much enthusiasm about the progress. I didn't want this to take any longer. I wanted this site to be done ASAP. So while I was sitting on the toilet, sideways so as to not put my foot into the open floor, I decided to be resourceful, make it a lesson, and turn it into some content. So here we go. I realized that my frustration with the repair process felt somehow familiar. It reminded me of how I felt a few years ago in the messy middle of my healing and growth journey. Standing lost on shaky ground in the middle of an open, raw construction site, dust and leaks everywhere. I had no idea how that would ever be done, but there was one thing I knew. I would only ever be okay once it was done. Once there was no more construction, no more chaos. Once my healing was complete. As it turned out, however, the worst thing about the site was the beliefs it revealed about myself. In this video, I'm going to talk about the growth and healing hustle, why messy middles are progress in disguise, and how you can begin to honor the unintentional breaks along the journey. So here's what I've learned. I've mentioned before that healing is a marathon, not a sprint. Building a house takes more than a day, and apparently fixing a leaking pipe does too. However, if we make being done the goal, if we outsource our happiness to that place beyond the finish line, then we are setting ourselves up for a shortness of breath, peace, and contentment. If we are hyper-focused on the goal, then we might miss the wonderful view along the journey. And by the way, this is where my analogy ends, because let me tell you that my bathroom currently is not a wonderful view, not even with optimism. I'm so glad you're here right now. So if you enjoyed this, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications to become occasionally awake with me. Anyway, if we are constantly waiting for the leap, then we are devaluing the steps we already took. As long as we want our progress to be different, faster, flawless, we are setting us up for perfection and thus for failure, because perfection doesn't exist. So we must fall short of that demand because perfection cannot be attained. By setting up standards that are simply too high, we are setting us up for perceived failure. But why would we want to do that? Well, here's the answer. We set ourselves up for failure to meet our own unconscious expectations. If we secretly believe ourselves to be flawed, broken, not enough, then we create the outer circumstances that will sustain our own unconscious scarcity beliefs. Even when it comes to your ability to heal and grow and to your progress on that journey, we will give ourselves reason. See, there it is. There's proof. I'm obviously broken. I'm really flawed. I am actually not good enough. And because the subconscious is hiding our own fears and doubts so well, we might not even be able to notice this mechanism, how we give ourselves reason according to our own fears and doubts. That attitude and that kind of self-loathing in the messy middle of your healing and growth journey will turn your life into a construction site that never ends. The good news is that it is your power and your ability to get out, to shift your mindset. True healing and growth happen as we recognize our wholeness. The wholeness that was there before the world began to convince us of our unworthiness. What we want to do here is believe in and ultimately feel the completeness of our own nature that just is. Independent from any actions we take, from any progress we make, from any success and goals we attain. Knowing our wholeness is what has us be not even receptive to judgment and criticism anymore, because wholeness recognizes the perfection of its own beingness, all flaws included. We've all heard that mindful phrase, "It is what it is." And the sentence used to drive me nuts at times where what was sucked. So I'm not going to say to have things be as they are and simply accept them in the messy middle of your healing and growth journey. That is not the point. Because it is not about the circumstances. It is not about the thing. It is how you relate to yourself on that journey. We are in relation to the world through the relations we are creating to everything and everyone external to us. We are the common denominator in all of our experience. And the first and most important thing we want to do in order to embrace that experience, even the messy middle of our growth and healing journey, is to embrace ourselves. Embracing means affirming what is, acknowledging what is. That's all that it is. Because a lot of the time, what we are actually telling ourselves is the opposite of the phrase, it is what it is. And we might not even notice that. We often tell ourselves that it is not what it is. Sounds too abstract or like you've never done that? Well, let me contextualize this and give you some examples. We might feel, I'm so scared that it's never going to get better. And we might respond to that feeling by thinking, I should be further ahead by now. I guess I'm a hopeless case and it's never going to get better. We might feel, I'm scared I'm not worthy of love like this. And we might respond to that feeling by thinking, the others are doing so much better than me. We might feel, I'm so uncomfortable with myself right now. And we might respond to that feeling by setting up conditions for our enoughness. Once I've achieved that milestone, then I'll have reason to feel comfortable. If any of this sounds familiar, are you noticing what happens? We are so used to rejecting our own experience. We object our feelings and we unconsciously bring about the worst case scenario. Turns out we're not good enough. Turns out maybe we're never gonna get better. Turns out the messy middle of that journey sucks. We prove the fear, the frustration, the discomfort right. We conclude that we are not good enough, we are not worthy of love, and we don't yet deserve to be comfortable. What if right in the messy middle of your healing and growth journey, all conditions were already met? Or one step further, what if there were no conditions whatsoever? No conditions you set up for yourself. What if you let go of the conditions you set for yourself? What you should be doing and thinking and how you should be feeling by now in order to prove your own progress to yourself. Instead, could you love yourself through the feeling right as you are right now? Not it is what it is, but I am who I am. I am how I am and I am where I am. And that's okay. I will stand by my own side without splitting from my experience. And I will treat myself like the universe treats me. Affirming. Only ever affirming. Yes, okay. Saying it to the feeling before you attach a story. Before the narrative about comparison, conditions, judgment, and scarcity hits. So let's rewrite that inner dialogue accordingly. I'm so scared it's never gonna get better. Yes, and I'm learning to love myself anyway. I'm so scared I'm not worthy of love. Yes, and if everyone agreed with my fear, I'll be the first and last one to call myself worthy. I'm so uncomfortable with myself right now. Yes, and which small move can I make today that will let me know that I'm taking care of myself through this experience? That is all that is needed for embracing the messy middle, for embracing yourself standing in your messy middle. No progress required, no wins required, no validation required, no assignment of worthiness required from anybody else but yourself for your own existence. And what if you made that more than apologetic, more than a generous act of forbearance? What if you didn't just say, I embrace myself anyway despite not meeting my standards? What if you embraced yourself for your amazing brilliance independent from the world, from any outer circumstances? And what if the world and the circumstances around you began to follow the example you set? If you can't clean the mess, then adorn yourself in the mess. Give yourself the spa treatment in the middle of the construction site that might be your growth and healing journey. Not for the sake of perfection, not for the sake of being done healing, but for the sake of presence. Not for the sake of compensating for any scarcity, but for the sake of embracing the entirety of the experience. And ultimately, for actively creating a different life experience because of that. If you are currently feeling lost in the messy middle of your journey, maybe because you feel stuck and struggle to gather the mental emotional resources for the next steps to take, then make sure to subscribe for more content like this and check out my website for the current opportunities to work with me one-on-one. As always, the links are in the description box below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. This video is related to the awakenings to the ego and to the conscious self. If you want more insights on the 4 types of awakenings and how to experience them in your life occasionally, then visit me at occasionallyawake.com to inspire your awakenings. Bye.